Welcome in, everyone, to episode 5 of El Jaripeo, the best pregame show in the NFPL. Hey, guys, there is some big news after a ton of action since the last time we were all together. We're going to cover it all. It's going to just drip through this entire episode. You're going to feel the energy this week, guys. It is the business end of the season. There's no room for error. The tables are tight. The playoff structure is still very much up in the air. Let's see what happens. You guys are going to realize some changes this week in the order of operations. We always start with the women first, and we have to this week because they are the champions of the first ever women's season in the NFPL. They played in a game behind closed doors with a little bit of controversy, but we are not going to talk about that in this video. If you guys want to see more about what was going on with that, you can go to my channel. But this show is all about Grand Rapids OLE. I'm going to focus on them in complete as they deserve, and we are going to celebrate our girls in this video and celebrate their efforts and results for the 2022-2023 season. Then, of course, we got to go around the league, take a look at the standings, talk about where we're at in relation to a playoff push, and then we're also going to look at the games ahead this weekend. It is a full set of games. There's a total of 5, and Ole will be a part of 2 of them. Again, 2 weeks in a row as they wrap up the business end of their season. Of course, we'll see what the fans are thinking about the games this weekend with our predictions league. Don't forget to get involved in that next year. We certainly could use some more people dicing it up and making things interesting in that league as it continues to grow. And then we'll also look at our top 5 goals. With 4 total games last week, we have 5 goals to share with you guys. In fact, I had a terrible time picking which one should go in. There were certainly some honorable mentions this week. And so, guys and girls, don't feel bad if your video didn't make it. The competition was stiff this week. So I invite you guys to continue to make it difficult for me so I can have some fun editing these top 5 videos. Then we'll talk about players to watch for the men's game as they take on 2 teams this week. And then we'll, of course, wrap things up and throw to Rudy as he takes us on our journey through futsal for the weekend. So first, of course, let's talk about the women and how their season ended, and then get into that championship match and do a quick review of how that game went. So here's how the season ended, and for the regular season for the ladies across the league. We see at the bottom of the table, Futsal Indy failed to register a win or even a draw this season. A tough start to life for the women of Futsal Indy. Columbus Futsal finishes 2-4. They came away with 6 points, both against the Indy team. But look at their goal against differential, 22-27. They really tightened things up, especially at the business end of the season. Be on the lookout for them next season and see how they perform. I think they will certainly be more competitive as they seem to gel towards the end of the season in the last couple of games. Grand Rapids OLE finishes 5-1, second place only on goal differential to Futsal Factory by a +20 goal differential. They finished the season with 5 straight wins to get that 5-1 record. You know how we get it done in Grand Rapids. And then Ann Arbor got the right to host the championship, albeit behind closed doors, with their 5-1 finish and a +39 goal differential. So let's get into the highlights from the championship match. I'm not going to spend a ton of time on this, only because I know Rudy plans to spend time with you guys on the stream live reviewing some of the main action, but let's take a look. Mari Mesa to Shelly Vargas from deep, finds her on the back post, and a beautiful goal to start things off against Futsal Factory. Just under 5 minutes in when we see our first goal. Now take a look at this. It's a rivalry game. Futsal Factory is not 5-1 for no reason. They bring it back 1-1. Nice little set piece play coming out of the kick in here. And then as you see here, still 1-1 at this point in the match. Futsal Factory forces a turnover. You see the nice 3-on-3, but some nice footwork from the Futsal Factory player finds their way to the back of the net. The only time they'd be ahead in this game, spoiler alert, 2-1 Futsal Factory. Now this is where things get interesting. Take a look at this. We got a shot long, deflected by the goalkeeper, and then in the ensuing follow-up, what is that stanky leg doing out there? Referee doesn't like it. You can see him trying to be subtle on the walk up with the hand on the holster, but you know what's coming. Red card. Clear dog-so opportunity, so keeper's got to go. Keeper has to go. It's the second time it's happened to Futsal Factory. Robert Dameron also with a red card for dog-so in a recent match against Joy. And not sure why there's a conversation here. Seems pretty clear to me, but Duck's asking questions. But this one's clear as day. Gotta go out of the game on this one. So they will sub in a field player to play keeper from here. And you'll see the consequences of this. Check out this free kick play. Grand Rapids loves their set pieces. You already know. So let's look at this little setup here. 1, 2, 3. Results. It's 2-2. That was a nice setup by Margaret to Sithali Luna. And then not much long after that, we see less than a minute later off of this corner kick. Futsal Factory trying to find a way back into this game. They go for the set piece. Mia Quintana gets it out of trouble. 1-2 pass. Sliding shot. Keeper's just not educated on what to do there, so it's an easy goal for Mari Meza. She finds her way onto the score sheet. She'd have 2 assists and a goal in this game. She had a fantastic championship match. Moving on, take a look here. Some moves here by Futsal Factory to try and find a way in. Chloe is stalking the play. Great effort by her to stay up and keep this play going, and she finds a toe poke to the back post. It's 4-2. We're not done there, though, folks. There's more to come. Check this out. Mia with the distribution. You're going to find that she moves the ball out short. We look to our left. We look to our right. You know how Grand Rapids plays, but look at this right here. Finds a diagonal pass. Kablamo. A goal for Margaret Perriard from Mari Mesa. There's her second assist of the night. Margaret in on an assist and a goal as well. She had a productive evening. One last moment of happiness for Futsal Factory season here. 6th foul. We got ourselves a free kick. This is in the last seconds of the match. I believe there was less than 30 seconds at this point in the match. Unfortunately, gets the best of Mia, otherwise covered. But from there, the game would come to a close at 5-3. The women are the inaugural champions of the NFPL and rightfully deserved for their hard work this season. Congratulations, ladies. As usual, we'll start in the Southwest Division and work our way home. Lot of action in a match between New Mexico Flagship and Brusa FC. Brusa is just 1 point ahead in the standings after losing on a trip to New Mexico. They dropped 5-3 in Albuquerque, which brought New Mexico right on their tails with a game in hand. 3-1-1 for the league leaders and just 3-1 for Flagship. San Diego Voyagers still in the hunt, but certainly have some work to do. They are at 1-3. Colorado Futsal Academy actually has 2 games in hand on league leaders, on division leaders, but are still looking for that first win. Just 1 point to their name in an opening draw with the top of the table, Brusa FC. So after a big result in Brusa to start the season, they have not been able to replicate that result and get some wins here with some other teams in the league. Interesting to see how this shakes out as we get to the tail end of the season. Now we move on to the Midwest Division. This has not moved much at all, but look how tight these games are. FC Trezub suffered a loss to Joy Athletic last week in Minneapolis, so they are now with a blemish on the record at 7-1, but still league leaders by a pretty hefty margin. There is no way they are losing this first place slot from my math. Granted, my math is not always great, but it looks like that there is no way back. But what is interesting is the Joy and Cadence battle in the middle of the table of this division, both at 3-1. 2 very different stories here as Cadence has missed 2 matches this season. Whether they make them up now that we're in the business end of the season and there's only 2 weeks left is TBD. Surely they will have to consider that if they want to have any part to play in the playoffs. Perhaps their lack of attendance will be a penalty here against them in their playoff contention. I don't know what stance the league will take on this. There's been very little talk around those postponements. And then Futsal Indy goes into their last game of the season this week at 0-9. Unfortunately, not a single team from Futsal Indy in any division has found a win this year. It's a forgettable season for them as they close things out in their season for 2023. Now we go to the Great Lakes division where things are still a little spicy. We see Grand Rapids OLE coming off of their win against Jenga and a tie against Columbus last weekend. 4 points out of 6 last weekend against some very stiff competition, particularly away to Columbus. Today's match against them will surely be a thriller. Columbus still in a title race, but they did have to postpone their match on their trip to Minneapolis. Again, not sure what that means coming up on the business end of the season with only 2 weeks left before playoffs, if they will be able to make up that match and possibly earn a couple points in their quest for first place. But outside of that, the rest of the table is pretty well set as far as who will make these playoffs and who won't on the Great Lakes side. Columbus and Grand Rapids pretty well locked in as we see Jenga and Futsal Factory both with some games to play, but no way back to get ahead of Columbus in that second place spot. But all they have left to play for here in these last 2 weeks is pride. When it comes to the matches this weekend, no one is safe on the table. It looks like the playoff positions are pretty well set, as we already discussed. But take a look at the schedule for this weekend. It starts with the game of the week. Guess who? Grand Rapids OLE playing at 7 Eastern time with a quick rematch in a turnaround game against Columbus Futsal. After a very exciting match away from home, OLE now with the home court advantage. Let's see how they handle things in their own dojo. You guys know how we do things. We're going to be bringing the heat. At the exact same time, we're going to see Jenga FC face off against Futsal Factory. Now, 2 teams in the Great Lakes division that are really just playing for pride, but this game will decide positioning in the table to wrap things up for the season. And Jenga is looking to make a statement as they have had a rip-roaring end to the season. They have really came and made some statement games here in the last 3 or 4 weeks, and they've made some statement signings as well with one of their new players. So I am very excited to see how that result goes. Of course, watching the replay of that match after the OLE game. And then at 8 p.m. Eastern time, FC Trezub faces off against Futsal Indy. It's the top of the Midwest against the bottom of the Midwest. Indy wrapping up a disappointing season. Trezub still needs to be on their toes because they cannot afford to lose a step with the standings the way they are for home field advantage in the playoffs. Then we head west. As we always like to wrap up our nights on Saturdays here, it's going to be San Diego Voyagers still looking for their first win of the season, hosting top of the division Brusa FC. That will be at 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. And then Sunday, we see our very own Grand Rapids OLE travel to Chicago to take on Cadence. This will be one of 2 final games, both away for our very own Grand Rapids OLE. This game should be very interesting to decide the Midwest side of the table, as well as that really critical component of who is going to host the whole way through the playoffs should they continue to win. And then even more exciting than that is April 1st. It's not often we look this far ahead in an Jaripeo, but since I won't be seeing you guys for the rest of the regular season, the biggest game remaining on the schedule is going to be the Battle of the Titans. It's going to be our very own Grand Rapids traveling to FC Trezub to take on the current Midwest leaders. This game will be critical to playoff positioning. This will decide who of the top teams between the Midwest and the Great Lakes, should the 2 first place teams make it to the final, will host that said final. So it is a very, very critical game for Grand Rapids OLE as well. So it is a big 2 weeks for our boys here as they look to replicate what the women did and make a massive playoff run and get that trophy and defend that title as defending champions all the way through to the end. So you guys already know how I feel about OLE and what is expected and what I think they'll do and what the roadmap is ahead. But let's take a look at what the rest of the fans are thinking. They're on the same page. Everyone this week voted the same way from the votes we've received so far. They're taking Ole in full confidence. They're taking Jinga, new look Jinga with their new energy, taking them in full confidence against the Futsal Factory side that seems to be limping into the end of the season. They're taking Trezub. Can't blame them for that. Is one of the best teams in the league this year. Definitely a shining star returning to the NFPL this year. And then, of course, we're taking Ole again on their trip to Cadence and 100% confidence as well. It is a wrap across the board. And with the Predictions League coming to a close at the end of the regular season, it looks like there won't be much change with no one willing to take a risk on the fixtures that are on this week. We'll see what happens next week with only 2 games left on April 1st to wrap up the regular season for the Midwest and the Great Lakes and see who comes away as winners of the first ever Predictions League for the NFPL. With that, let's take a look at the top 5 goals amongst all 4 games from last week and really get into the fun stuff. I want to talk about goals. There were so many enjoyable ones to look at. So let's just dive right in. Coming in at number 5, it's Chloe Kelling. Take a look at this championship goal. This put Grand Rapids up 4-2. I love the tenacity. I love the stand-up, power through ability of Chloe. She never quits. She never lets a trip up keep her from meeting the ultimate goal, and it happened here. Nice little steal away. Immediate counter. Stays on her feet through a good challenge on the first defender. Second defender can't get there in time before she toe pokes bottom right corner. And you already know, as you see the fans here in the bottom right corner, that they loved it. Let's take a look at number 4, Sitalali Luna. This was in the match against Columbus, the final regular season match of the year. And take a look here. She did get caught with a pass between the legs, but immediately recovers with the team. Nice 1-2. The vision to let that ball pass by her so she can continue to run through the mid-court and take an aggressive position here. Lets it go. Look at this through pass. Absolutely beautiful. Perfectly fed. And back post all day for Sitalali Luna. Take a look one last time. What a great run. Nice little roll to keep control of the ball and put it in the direction she wants to go. Number 3, Alfonso Zavala. You know we love goalkeepers in our top 5, and this is no different. Doing her Mia Quintana impression. Hits the bottom bar of the goal on the opposite side. I mean, it literally couldn't be placed any better than this. Perfect. Taking advantage of Jinga's 5 men forward in the last 20 seconds of this match to put the icing on the cake. This was a very tough match, and Alfonso found a way to seal the deal. Number 2, Miguel Cervantes. Oh boy, this match had drama with back and forth. 40 seconds, 50 seconds or so of probing, looking for that game-tying shot. The whole team being patient and finds Miguel, the goalkeeper, with the tying goal. You see how much it means to him and the team. You see how much of a dagger in the heart it was for Columbus. Immediately looking around in dismay of what's going on. And look at this. Miguel, El Rey of Columbus. Number 1. Come on. You knew Sammy was going to be in this list. You just knew it. Number 1. Sammy is back. Take a look at this. Using his strength and his physique. And then a lift over team captain of Columbus. Beautiful lift. Let's slow it down and look at it again. First, look at stopping this ball. Nice and easy lift. And the volley to the inside post. There's nothing anyone's doing about that one. And you better believe that's going to be a Goal of the Month nomination if it's not the winner. Well, guys, for players to watch, this may feel a little cheesy, but I'm just going to go ahead and go out on a limb and say that every player is a player to watch this week as we look to get to the business end of the season. There's not a single easy match on the horizon. A very tough opponent coming to town in Columbus, clearly, with a 6-6 draw from our last competition against them, from the doubleheader with them and Jinga. Then we have Cadence coming up. It's going to be a road trip to Chicago the very next day after a very tough, physically and mentally draining match against Columbus. And then on April 1st. It's FC Trizub, and it's going to be a deciding match no matter what happens this week and who runs the table during the playoffs, who gets to host. And so I have to put the call out to all of the players. All of the players are going to be stepping up. This is the mentality of Grand Rapids OLE. This is the mentality that won them a championship last year. It goes double again for this year as they look to repeat, and would love to add a trophy next to the women's trophy from the 22-23 season in the cabinet. It's going to look so good next to last year's trophy if they can pull it off. Keep an eye out for every player on this team to give maximum effort to close out the season. Well, there you have it, guys. Tons of content this week as we had 4 games to review, as we had tons of content around the league and changes. Certainly some drama in the background, but we're going to avoid that and focus on the good for this video. You guys, I am so thankful for you joining me on this journey through the regular season as we did El Jaripeo for the 5th time for the home matches this season. I cannot thank you guys enough for supporting my channel and Grand Rapids OLE. I know this is low budget. You guys powered through and dealt with it anyway and allowed me to do my my stupid dad jokes and really push and hype a team that I am passionate about. That's OLE. So thank you guys very much for being a part of this journey. You fans are the important part. You fans are the lifeblood of these teams and of this league. I appreciate each and every one of you. If you want to stick together with us through the off season, feel free to like and subscribe. Stick with the channel as we cover global futsal news as it comes up the best we can. We also have our Discord channel where you guys can follow along. That's where the Predictions League Trash Talk is. That's where we talk about streams of other matches around the globe to keep us entertained when Ole's not playing. So please join our community, and then that way we can stay in touch during the off season and see you guys at the beginning of next season. Of course, you know that I'll be popping up here and there during the playoffs. I'm hoping to make a trip up to Grand Rapids. So if you guys are local to GR and you see me at a game, please come up and say hello and talk to me. I'd love to get to know everyone there in Grand Rapids. As you could probably tell, I'm a social guy. So until I see you guys next time, I hope that you guys continue to follow OLE with the same passion that I feel for them. And until I see you guys in the next video, Vamos OLE!